I'm going to show you today how to do a 90s glam grunge look. To start with, you're going to already have cleansed, toned and moisturised, and then follow that with a primer. I found that I'm going to be using a lot of Evangelista products today. I love their products. I can't recommend them enough, and I'm not being paid to say that. Now I'm going to start with some colour correction. So first of all, I'm going to go in with a large flat concealer brush, and then I'm going to go in with Evangelista cream pigment in Hollow. It's really nice. It's sort of a taupey mushroomy colour. This stuff is amazing at covering redness. You'd think, that's really weird, I want to go in with a concealer. I prefer to go in with my flat brush, Hollow. So I've got it on my brush there. So I'm going to cover the redness that I've got. So this is Evangelista cream pigment in Emerge, and it's a really nice cream peach. It's not too orange, it's not too pink. I'm going to go in with my Sigma Concealer F75 brush, which is like a tapered, pointed, flat synthetic concealer brush. This is going to go under the eyes to conceal any dark circles, because orange is the opposite of blue, so that's why we're using orange, because under eye circles can look a bit bluey purple. So if you think of the colour wheel, that's what colour correction is. It's using the opposite end of the colour wheel to blend the two together and cancel each other out. So I used, well, what's the opposite of red? The opposite of red is green. The Hollow product I showed you is quite an olive taupe based ash. It's not orange. If I put orange on top of red, which is what most concealers have, the peach tone in them, if I put orange on top of red, it would be too close to red and it wouldn't hide it enough. So this is why you need that ashy tone in it in order to cancel each other out. Emerge, this pigment I just showed you, on my flat brush, like that. I'm just going to put it under the eyes. Next step. Prime your eyes. This is especially important if you're doing like a smoky eye. Also this one that I've got here is a Barbara Daly one. I've got mine in the colour Vanilla. So it comes out really light on me, and I'm a ghost, so I wouldn't recommend this shade really. So I'm just going to put that on the eye and take it up to the brow bone like that. That's right. I am going to take a pencil brush. This is called Heroine with an E, as in the female version at hero, not what you're thinking. I also use this product to fill my brows, as it's a really nice ash based colour. I'm just getting a little bit, put it just on the outer crease. See, I'm making it rounder by winging it underneath. And yes, you'll notice I'm doing my eyes before I've done my foundation. This is because if you're doing a smoky eye especially, with lots of dark colours, you'll get a lot of product fallout. Whereas if you do your eyes first, then you can just wipe it off because you've got nothing that it will smudge against, and then you can put your base on. Then I'm going to do the outer third. Okay, so that's my smoky around already. Now I'm going to go in with my favourite brush of all time. Yes, I'm aware it's a big statement. So this is my Sigma small tapered blending brush. That's an E45, and it's got that tip to it. Tapered, synthetic little blending brush. Perfect for blending your colours out. It fits right in the crease nicely. This is also from Evangelista, the neutral palette. Okay, so in the top corner, that's Stealth, which is a matte sort of buttermilk yellow colour. This is Vintage, which is a lovely shimmery old gold bronze, I would call it. Then Wolf, which is a beautiful matte brown now, and it does come out quite dark. And then this is Obsidian. It's a matte black. It's the blackest black eyeshadow you can buy. So pigmented, easily blendable, which is really difficult for a black. So we are going to go in with Stealth, which is this yellowy buttermilk colour. Same pencil brush, all over the lid, focusing on the inner corner and to the middle, because remember we've already got the smoke on the outer corner, under the brow bone as brow highlight. Get our blendy blend, blend it out. Everything you put on, always blend it out. Wipe off your pencil brush because you've just got a bit of the lighter colour on it. So we're going to go for Wolf, which is this. I just like to dab just the tip, so round it off. Remember, we're going for a round shape. So ideally you want to stop the smoke sort of where your natural eyebrows end. So we're going to go in with the same colour, but we're going to put it in an unusual place. We're going to put it under here. Same pencil brush. You are just going to use the tip, the very tip, on your black. Just going in the crease. And outer third again, just to darken it. We're going to darken it to a dark brown, not to black. Get your blender. Just going to do the same on the other eye. I like to go in with a bit of Make It Geek eyeshadows. These eyeshadows are amazing. So I'm going to be using a bit of this one here, which is, no, Frappe. A Frappe on my blending brush. Going in with Vintage, which is our lovely shiny goldy one. Tiny bit of Vintage. So that's going on the middle of your eyelid. Blend. So we're going to do the same on this side. Brush it away from the lighter section, otherwise we're just going to pull it in. Right, next step, skin. With Illamasqua, I use their Skin Base, which is a sheer to medium coverage foundation. Here, I am a perfect 3.5. I've never found a foundation that matches me quite like it. Sorted out. So I'm going to add use a bit of 3.5. I'm going to mix that in with a tiny bit of Illamasqua's Rich Liquid, which is 133. I'm going to mix the two together. I'm going to have mostly Skin Base, which is your sheerer-ish one, with your Rich Liquid, which is thicker and obviously more high cover. I'm going to mix the two together because the 90s look is all about matte, perfect skin. You need about that much. Rich Liquid, I'm going to add about that much. So it's about half as much. I'm going to be using my favourite foundation brush, which is actually an Illamasqua highlighter brush. It looks like this. Blend it out. I don't go under the eyes yet. I do all of the face and then I go under the eyes. Push it down. And we push it down because if we pushed it up, it would show all of these little hairs. It would make them stick up and make it look a lot worse than they are. go around here, keep that round shape. Is basically my moral of the story for today. Be sympathetic to all of the work that you've already done. I pat it under. Next, you want to keep some of this on your hand, okay? Because we're going to use it in a minute. This is important. It just says product wastage. If you put too much on your skin, it's just going to look really flat. I like to go in again with my blender because we should still have a little bit of a dark colour on there. And just carry it around in case we've blurred the edges too much into obscurity. Okay, so I'm now going to switch to a flatter foundation brush. So I'm using this one. This is a Sigma Large Concealer. That is an F65, so it looks like that. So I'm now going to go in with a little bit of Skin Base again, but this is number 01. Now we're going to mix what we already have on our hand with a tiny bit of white. A tiny bit of white. That's all you need. That much. Okay, just don't go overboard. Please don't go overboard, otherwise you'll look like a drag queen. So it's a really useful tip to know for drag. Using leftover product on your hand, mix colours. Drag makeup is fabulous, by the way. I have nothing against looking like a drag queen. You can look like a drag queen every day if you want. I will applaud you. I'm just not brave enough to do it myself. Actually, that's a lie. I've gone on the tube in full drag. Okay, flat brush. So this is where we're going to do our highlighting. So the areas we're going to highlight are the areas that the light naturally hits your face. So the highest points of your face. It's especially important for me to find my cheekbones. There they are, hiding away. So I raise them. White makes anything appear closer. Darker colours make everything recede, which is why we contour underneath them to give it a little bit more shadow underneath and make it look like they're fuller and more pronounced than they actually are. You can do whatever you like. So I'm going to smile a tiny bit. And where the highest point is, I'm going to add it on. Yeah, so find where your contour would be and go below it with your highlight shade again. So for me, that's going to be here and on the jawline. So under our contour, you can see I've got like 2 stripes. Stripe underneath and a stripe on top. Okay, so you can do the same on the other side. Chin. Bridge of the nose. So I like to turn my brush sideways for this. Tiny bit of white just to tie it all together. I like to turn it sideways again and do a Cupid's bow stripes. Mine are quite pronounced. I've got a lot of space between my nose and my mouth. I need to fill in something, otherwise it just looks like a huge blank space. So I'm going to blend it out with this brush first. Okay, I love this brush for my contour. So it's got this flat top to it, and then you flip it over and it's got like a little angled one that's the same. So I like to use the big brush, go in with your hollow, Find where your cheekbones naturally tuck in, so you can do your best Victoria Beckham pout. So we're going to tuck underneath them, there. I like to go quite high into the hairline and blend it into where the ear is, just to make it look like it's all natural and not just a stripe on your face. I then softly use the edge and blend it out on both sides. Okay, I also like to contour my nose, so that's when I use this little brush. So I get right in here and I go down the sides. Same amounts on the brush. I go in my little gap to define this section, and I go under the bottom lip, following the sort of shape of the chin. Okay, I'm going to blend this bit out with the bigger end of my brush. We set our cream with translucent powder, all of our highlight, all of our contour. Now we're going to go over all of the areas that we highlighted and contoured with a powder product. So this is my favourite contouring product. This is my Sculpting Duo from Illamasqua in the shades Lumos and Heliopolis. So if I open it up, you've got your highlight and your contour there. I also like to apply it with my Illamasqua Blush Up brush, which is this shape. It's a really unusual flat shape with like an oval tip, so it's really flat and it gets right in those little crevices, right underneath the cheekbone. So get your product on your brush like I've just done, tap the excess off. There's nothing worse than excess contour powder sweeping across your nose when you flick it sideways. Not fun. Find where you put that contour before. So, see, stripe. I like to get it a lot darker in this outer corner, just because that's where I really need to define. I don't have cheekbones there. Tiny bit under the chin, remember that, under the lip, that's where we did it before. What I love about this brush, if you get a bit on the tip, this bit will fit right here. And the same principle applies to baking the sides of the nose. I also like to do a little bit at the hairline. And we're also going to highlight the areas with the same palette. This is a large fluff E50, so it's actually meant for your eyes, but I think that would be far too big. It's nice and flat, but domed. I like to use it for my highlight. So we go over where we put our highlight. Just a touch on here, because having glittery jaw is just a bit weird. I put quite a lot on my chin. I like that little bit to shine. And I also put a lot on the very tip of my nose. And that carries up the bridge of the nose. On the end of the nose, I use like a dabbing motion to pack it in, pressing it into the skin where you want a lot of it. there's my highlight and contour. See, I'm lovely and chiseled. Now I'm going to go in with some blusher, just a little tiny bit. This is my favourite blusher brush, F10 from Sigma. It's just a really nice density. Sometimes they can be too long, so they're quite floppy and don't do much. My favourite ever blush in the world is Benefit's Rocketeur. It's a metallic dusky rose. For a 90s look, we're just going to do blush on the outer apples of the cheeks, so here. You want something quite warm, so we're just going to go really lightly. The next step is to do our brows. So I like to use a pointed flat brush like this. I think this is a Model's Own lip brush actually. A lip brush is fine. I use Illamasqua again. This is their Skin Base Lift, which is their concealers, in light white. Get a bit on my brush like that. And then I like to flatten my brush. So make it extremely flat. I'm going to reverse stencil my brows in. Reverse stenciling is using a lighter colour to map out the shape of your brows and then blending it away after you've already filled them in. I go underneath first usually. Again, with this look, make sure you don't go too far underneath the inner corner of the brow like I usually would when doing this. So I'm just going to go from here. This bit is not filled in, but I've left a gap for it because that's how I make my brows more angular and square. Same on the other side. And go in with an angle brush like this. Now we go in with our powder colour in Heroin again, so that's the same one that we first put in our crease. And I fill them in from the front. So, see when I fill in my brows? Look, I've drawn over my brow essentially, like I've gone higher than my brow. Because I like to make that angle here quite square. So do the other side. Now we're going to go in angled brush. This is my favourite brow product. So this is Illamasqua's Precision Brow Gel in Awe, A-W-E. So this is the lightest shade they do. It's a nice blondie taupe, again similar to the colour of Hollow. So we're doing a lot of monochromatic sort of browns, beiges in this look. So what I like to do is I use this on the outer third and then I bring it forward and blend the two together so it's almost like half and half. So then we go in with our flat concealer brush and we blend out what we've just done. But for the 90s look, they're quite fluffy and sort of big and bold, so I like to use Benefit's Gimme Brow. This is the darker shade, so it's medium deep. It's like a mini mascara, but for your eyebrow. See, little tiny mascara one that's pointed. So I'm going to fluff up my brow. You can of course use a clear brow gel or a clear mascara for that, but I find it pulls the colour off your brows too much so that they end up more like your natural brows, which is difficult for me because I make mine quite dark. Right, the next exciting bit is under eye. So for this I'm going to be using Illamasqua colouring pencil in Fidelity. It's a really nice brown colour. So I put this on the back of my hand because if you put it under your eyes with a pencil, it's just going to drag, and that causes extra lines and pain and discomfort. This is a Sigma short shader in E20. It's short, stiff, with a dome top for smudging. Brilliant for this. Get it on our brush, and then we're going to go underneath the eye. Same on the other side. Short, thin, little strokes of this. Okay, so you're going to join the two up basically to continue that rounded shape. Okay, once we've done that, we're going to add one more cream product, which is our same little concealer brush, same concealer. I'm going to go underneath the eyes with this. So then you're just going to buff that out with your foundation brush. Okie doke. You're then going to set that with powder, because anything cream you put down you want to set on top of it with powder. We're now going to go over what we've just done on the under eye with Heroin eyeshadow, again our favourite. Pencil brush underneath it. Blending brush again. Going in with our shader, that one, again. We are going into our neutral palette once more, into Wolf again, which is the brown. So that's going to go just to the lash line really. We're now going to go in with this, which is a flat definer E15 brush. It looks like this one, so we're going to go in again with Wolf. We're just going to go under the lash line, literally along where the lashes are. Going to do the same on the other side. Everything you put down, blend. So we're going to go back in with our blending brush. Same again with flat shader brush. Going in with Obsidian, which is our black. Like we did in the crease before, so it's the same steps as what we did in our crease. Tiniest little amount of black, same principle as when we used our pencil brush. Use just the tips. We're going underneath. Blend that into the brown underneath it. These are our Makeup Geek shadow. I'm going in with Frappe. Little bit on my blending brush. I'm going on our crease. Really, really warm it up. I'm also going to go underneath using the same colour but with my pencil brush. Blend it back around with your foundation brush into that circle. So we're going to do the same on the other side. Shading brush, warmth. Correcting the circle. I'm going to go in again. This time I'm going to go in with Cocoa Bear. This dark brick red rust colour. There's no other colour like it anywhere. So we're going to do the same. It's just a super extra hit of warmth. This shade here, this bright orange yellow, this is Chickadee. Same brush, same place. We're going to go in with our neutral palette again, in Obsidian, which is the black. Flat, that one, again. Get it as close to the lash line as you can. Now we're going to use our shader. What we're going to do, we're going to use it going upwards, so we're going to drag it up, so we're going to push it, so it's going to blend into the lid colour. Same on the other side. I'm using Hypnose Drama Mascara by Lancome in black. You can use whatever mascara you like. I don't really use this one much, it's just what happened to be around, and it's quite sooty, smoky. I'm going to get my pencil Infidelity again. I'm going to go for a sort of a slightly Cindy Crawford inspired look, in that she's got that little mole, so you put it in. Like that. And then I'm going to twizzle it around. Little beauty mark. I am then going to sharpen it. I'm actually first going to do my waterline as it's nice and sharp. So, got a pencil Infidelity. This is how to line your lips properly. So, I like to partition my lips up. So you put a dot right in the middle. Where your cupid's bow is. So, there. You then do a dot at the top of it. On each side like that. And the corners. And directly in the middle at the bottom. Now I'm going to join them all up. The secret with lining the top is deciding whether you want hills or mountains. So hills are when you round the top of a cupid's bow, or you're going to go mountains. So in that case you would make quite a steep line going up and down, make it really sharp. Mine are naturally kind of a mountain, so they're quite steep. But with this look, we're going to soften it down a bit. Everything in a 90s look is quite soft, blown out, demure, smoky. So we don't want anything too angular. So even my brows are a bit angular for this look, really. But the general principle's there. Like the colour scheme, the colour palette is enough to indicate that what kind of look this is. So the trick with lining the two side bits of your lips, if you want to make it like a rounded shape here, so think classic Marilyn Monroe, hers is like really rounded top lip shape because it's quite wide. To do that, you go from the inside out. That makes a natural round shape if you go from the middle to the outer corner. If you want to do it the other way around, if you want to make that quite a sharp line, like mine's quite a steep downwards facing line, you go from the other way. So you go from the outer to the top. So straight is outer to the top, rounded is top to the outer. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to make mine a little bit rounded. So here we go. Wish me luck, folks. I'm going to go in with a pinky brownie nude. So this is a Rimmel London Kate matte lipstick in number 3, which is this colour. I'm now going in with my MAC Satin in Myth, which is, it's like a peach nude. Straight in. But I'm just going in the middle. Do that in the middle. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll leave you with some pictures that I took so you can see what it looks like in a proper sort of edited setting, pictures wise. Okay, bye 90s kids, thanks for watching.